You're listening to Happy Healthy Hormones with Dr. Chris. Are you tired of the short-term patch to your health problems? Is avoiding medications and surgeries important to you? If you answered yes, then your prayers have been answered. Dr. Chris has been helping people transform their health for over a decade. He's a world-renowned health expert who specializes in holistic health. He's a professional speaker, chiropractor, and international best-selling author. It's his mission to help you reach your full God-given potential through holistic health and healing. Get ready to be inspired and transformed. Here's your host, Dr. Chris.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the show where disease takes a dive and people come to thrive. Today you're really going to thrive because we've got a cool guest. This is Dr. Ryan Sousley. He's a 6-time Ironman triathlete, an ex-college football player. In fact, we actually used to play against each other, which you'll hear about that soon enough, and a fitness fanatic. He attended Western Washington University and received a degree in exercise science. Then he went on to Life University, graduated Magna Cum Laude as a Doctor of Chiropractic. And he's been privileged to have one of the largest chiropractic and wellness clinics in the Northwest. In fact, he is on the cutting edge in techniques in spinal correction and nutrition. And he now helps literally hundreds of patients per week in his clinic, speaks all around the country on health and wellness, and coaches other doctors to be their best. He spends his downtime with his kids, which they're super cute. We have hung out with them numerous times, skiing, swimming, anything outdoors related. And he's also very invested in his church and just helping people be set free and becoming everything they are set out to be. One of his biggest passions is constantly pushing the limit towards optimal performance and health and life. And that's his mission, to help people win at life and just helping their mindsets through that. So let's hear from Dr. Ryan. All right, everyone. Hello and welcome. We have a really amazing guest. We have Dr. Ryan Sousley on today. He is a champion, man. He is one of the hardest working guys I know. He gets knocked down and keeps on going. And he is a just warrior when it comes to natural health and healing and just helping transform a lot of lives as well, physically, chemically, emotionally. So Dr. Ryan, good to have you on.
Hey, thanks, Dr. Chris. It's an honor to be with you.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, let's break into it because I know you kind of do it all, because you've got a beautiful family. You've got 2 little girls and a little boy and then another one on the way. And you've got an amazing clinic that you help a lot of people with. But tell us your story. I mean, you grew up in a small town in Eastern Washington, to like what you used to do there, what your vision was, to how your vision changed and how you ended up becoming a natural health leader in the industry.
Yeah, so I grew up, my mom's an ICU nurse and she's phenomenal at what she does. And she's done that for over 35 years. And so I grew up going to the hospital a lot just to watch her and hang out with her. And luckily I wasn't really sick much, so I wasn't a patient, but I just developed a fascination with healthcare and medicine, just by being around what my mom did. But as I got older, I started to recognize the reality that even though we have a great healthcare system for patching people up when they get sick, we're not very good at keeping people out of the system in the first place. So I realized that the need, because as I got older, I developed this desire to get into healthcare. And it was apparent to me that the real need was, to keep people out of the hospital, not to help people once they're in. We got great doctors, we got great medical schools, and I don't think we're lacking for that. But I realized that we were really lacking in education and prevention. And so that's kind of what led me to, get a degree in exercise science. I went to Western Washington University. I played football there. Got a degree in exercise science, went to chiropractic school because chiropractic and the whole philosophy of above, down, inside out healing and innate health just totally made sense to me.
Well, I just want to pause you there for a second, because you went to Western Washington University and I actually went to Central Washington University, and people probably don't realize this because they're both pretty small schools, right? Like Division II schools. They're not, you're not getting any bowl games going or anything. But hey, regardless, to get to that level is great. But Dr. Ryan and I, we were in arch rival schools, didn't even know it until like years later when we were going to professional school to become doctors. Just a little side note.
It's a small world.
Small world.
It all comes around, man.
Absolutely. So you were saying about just being an athlete and yeah, sorry to interrupt you there.
No, that's good. Yeah, I got a little glimpse of my glory days there. It's great. But yeah, so I went to Western, got a degree in exercise science while I was playing football, and went to chiropractic school. And so my wife and I got married right before we went to chiropractic school, and then she ended up going to chiropractic school too. So we both became chiropractors. And yeah, I mean, got my degree and thought I was just going to come out of school and start helping people through chiropractic, and I did. But I also recognized, you know, a need for even more than that. You know, I think, well, you know this because you're a chiropractor. We help a lot of people with their spines and with their nervous system. We teach a lot of great principles as far as health. But I also realized that people needed help way beyond just getting adjusted and correcting their spine. And so I spent a lot of time over the last decade just learning and consuming as much as I possibly could in terms of nutrition, detoxification, you know, supplement health, gut health. I mean, pretty much anything that would benefit people in terms of their health. And for me personally, just optimize performance, because even though, you know, I'm not playing college football anymore, I'm still extremely competitive, and I do a lot of athletic stuff still. So that's kind of what brought me to where I'm at today. And my wife and I have an amazing practice in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and we get to serve a lot of people. And you know, we're trying to break out of just our local market and start reaching people, you know, worldwide.
That's awesome. And, you know, you're talking about how you're still an athlete and you're still pushing your body, and just how you've overcome some pretty significant things when it comes to your future for being able to be active. So I think this is an amazing story, because you recently had an Achilles injury, or was very severe. Most people would have went down the road of surgery, probably like 95%. And you're probably getting recommended that. And you actually overcame that, and without having surgery, which I think is amazing. So can you share with our viewers, like, what happened, how you came to the decision to not go through the surgery, and how you're doing now?
Yeah, so it's kind of a funny story, because I was in Chicago last year at a seminar, actually, and after the seminar was over, we played basketball with a bunch of chiropractors, and it was this weekly game that all these college athletes or ex-college athletes play in. And so, you know, of course, like, I don't want to embarrass my buddy and be his terrible friend, and so I'm like trying as hard as I can. But I don't play a whole lot of basketball anymore. Like, I got into triathlon when we moved to Coeur d'Alene 7 years ago, and I've done 6 Ironman triathlons now, and I ski and hike and hunt and bike and all that stuff. But as far as like explosive sports, like or ballistic sports like basketball, I don't do a whole lot of that. So long story short, you know, I took one wrong step, ruptured my Achilles tendon, and you know, I ended up being a lame friend anyway. It's just kind of ironic.
Yeah.
That happens in any area of life where you try too hard, you know.
Yeah.
It comes back to get you. But so yeah, I kind of had to hobble my way home and get back to Coeur d'Alene. Went and saw an orthopedic surgeon who, yes, recommended surgery. And I was kind of torn about it, because even though as a chiropractor and like a holistic health professional, even still, you know, there are obviously limitations of matter in certain situations where you need surgery. You know, like you break your arm in half, like you probably need to go get that fixed. You're not going to eat enough kale to fix that by yourself. But I started coming across some case studies of athletes and different people who had overcome the same type of injury without surgery. And mine was, you know, a lot of people ask me, oh, you must have only partially tore it. No, mine was a 2-centimeter tear. So you could stick your finger in the middle of the Achilles tendon. There's nothing there. And I've got the MRI to, you know, show it and everything. But as I started coming across these case studies, you know, it brought a little bit of hope and, you know, potential. So there was this potential that I could maybe not do the surgery and just let my body heal on its own. And with my background, and I know that you share the same core value that, you know, the body does an amazing job of healing itself. We give it far too little credit when it comes to the body's ability to heal on its own if we just focus on removing the interference. And so that was, you know, that's what sat the best with me, you know, in terms of just gut feeling.
Absolutely.
So I went back to my surgeon, told him what I was going to do, and he didn't like it. And he was like, okay, so if you're going to do that, I'm going to put a cast on your leg. You need to keep this on for at least 3 weeks. and, you know, not put any pressure on it and everything else. So I let him put the cast on, and then I started reading and thinking, and I'm like, this doesn't seem normal either. Like, movement creates circulation, circulation creates life. And so this just doesn't feel right to me. So I went to the hardware store, got a pair of tin snips 2 days later, and I cut off my own cast. And
nice. That's Eastern Washington boy right there. I love it.
Hey, we just get her done.
Yeah.
No matter what. And so ordered a walking boot, because the one I got from the orthopedic, you know, it was just terrible. So I got this one where you could actually change the angle of the foot and everything. And from there, I kind of just rehabbed myself. Like, I just became a student of soft tissue healing and Achilles injuries specifically. And, you know, of course I had to work really hard on keeping my nutrition clean, and I took a lot of collagen supplements that are really excellent for soft tissue healing. And 9 months later, I'm training for another Ironman. I'm running 7-8 miles, you know, every other day, and I could pretty much do whatever I want. So there was a lot of work in between there, but you know, it's just a testament to one, like you said, hard work. You know, I think that is a part of it. But number two, you know, I think everybody listening, you know, you got to remember that your body has the same potential that my body does. I think it's easy for people to look at someone like me or someone like you, because you're really, really well accomplished, really fit guy too, and say, well, you know, that's, you know, possible for them, but I don't think I could ever do that. And I think that's where people are wrong. Like, I think, you know, I think that we all have this amazing potential inside of us, and we just have to believe in ourselves, number one, and then make sure that our actions match our beliefs. Right?
That's huge.
Because if you really truly believe in yourself, you would behave a little bit different than if you had doubts. You know, and we all have doubts, but sometimes you just have to, you know, strap it up and do it anyway.
Absolutely. It's, you know, so many times people look at somebody in a public figure, they look at, you know, Dr. Ryan, Dr. Chris, oh, these guys, they must be perfect at everything they do. That's not me. They were born this way, whatever it is. And the reality is like, neither one of us are perfect. You know, we all have our vices, and we were created in the same image as everyone else. And the fact is, like you said, we have amazing healing power. And there's so many people out there that get forced or scared into having surgeries all the time. And you might think, oh, you know, it's a routine surgery. Achilles, people get that surgeries and cut on that all the time, right? Or that broken bone or whatever it might be. But a lot of times it's just like trusting our bodies. But we oftentimes make bad choices in a state of fear. And that's like the worst place to make a choice, is in that state of fear, right? When you're in the ER, when things are not going your way, they're pressuring you about your insurance and your payment. There's sick people all around. There's doctors telling you got to do something. And the fact that you kind of stepped back from that. And I mean, because you're talking about something you're very passionate about, and triathlete and being active outdoors and running a practice. I mean, I'm sure that was one of your thoughts, like, oh God, how am I going to take care of people scooting around on a scooter and a boot? But you just took that time to reacclimate and make a better choice for yourself. And that's so key. And that's what I love about your 5 minutes of fire that you do on your Facebook page. Is if you guys haven't heard Dr. Ryan's 5 minutes of fire or started to listen to that, I encourage you to, because he's always just giving you different perspectives on things and how you're thinking about things and how you're processing things in life. And so what inspired you to do your 5 minutes of fire?
Well, yeah, I mean, out of all the different things that I study in terms of health, I think mindset captivates me the most, just because I'm a firm believer that you have to win in your mind before you win anywhere else. And I think that's true in relationships. I think it's true financially. I think it's true in business and athletics. And, you know, high-level athletes ascribe to the same philosophy that, you know, visualization and mindset are really the difference maker when it comes to, you know, just a good athlete compared to a great athlete. And so mindset has always been just a fascinating thing for me. And I'm always trying to improve and learn and grow. And really where the 5 minutes of fire came from is, you know, seeing patients in my office all day, every day. I would have these things that I would want to say to patients to motivate or inspire or challenge them. But, you know, I mean, when you're with patients, even when you're with them for 5-10 minutes, there's still not really the time, or maybe even more so the context, to really say what you want to say, you know, because it's a little different when it's one person standing right in front of you versus like, well, hey, I'm just going to put this out there. And, you know, like my pastor says, if you're listening to this, hey, if I'm not preaching to you, I'm not preaching to you. If I'm not talking to you, I'm not talking to you. So, you know, you can get away with saying some more challenging types of things, but at the same time, you know, for a lot of people that hear it, it really lands well with them and resonates, and it challenges their state, and it also, I think, brings the best out of them. And so a lot of the things that I just think to myself and challenge myself with, I just started putting it on video, and I would tell my patients like, hey, you know, I put these videos out just to encourage you guys, and it just kind of grew from there.
That's awesome. Well, that leads me to my next question, which is been some moments, maybe some life events that have made the biggest shift in your mindset or how you perceive things, because every time we get complacent, life can hit us with things and we think it's something bad at the moment, but it's just an opportunity for us to rise to that next level, to get to that next great thing. So what have those few things been for you, Doc?
Well, yeah, it's funny because when you sent the questions over ahead of time for me to kind of look through, and I looked at that one, that's the one I spent the most time on just thinking about. And I was having a hard time narrowing it down to just 3 because there's been so many in my life. Mm-hmm. But what's interesting is that all 3 of them, none of them are like things that people wish for. Like none of these 3 things, you know, people really put on their vision board. Okay. I guess with the exception of having kids. So having kids is one of them. And I'll kind of go out of order here a little bit.
That's right.
The first one was breaking my foot twice playing college football. So I was all-state quarterback in high school, came out of high school thinking, you know, I was just going to crush it in college. And then I just had injury after injury. I broke my foot twice my junior year. And the second time that it happened, it was kind of a crazy story because I had broken it my junior year, actually in Seahawks Stadium, playing you guys, playing Central. And you didn't break my foot, did you, Chris?
No, it wasn't me. I promise. I was probably on the sidelines, so you're good.
Anyway, so broke my foot and rehabbed it all winter, and then right before our first spring practice, I get this just weird feeling in my stomach. And normally, I'm not very like signs and wonders type of guy. Like I'm pretty black and white, pretty logical. But I just got this really strong sense that like I wasn't supposed to play football anymore. And it was crazy. And so I remember kind of going, you know, finding this quiet place on campus. And I just kind of prayed, meditated for a while. And I was like, man, if this is really like legit, like I'm going to need some kind of like sign, you know, which is crazy because I've never before or since, you know, said that type of thing. And sure enough, first play of that first practice later that afternoon, broke my foot again, had it x-rayed. It was all the way broken, missed my senior season, and it was devastating. So I broke my foot, you know, the second time, and it was devastating because, you know, I'd always thought that I was going to play football or coach football or be involved in football somehow for the rest of my life. And I didn't really have any other plan than that, and I still had a year to go. And so at the moment, it was really devastating. But it turns out, you know, God's got a plan. It's a lot bigger than ours, and we don't get to see all of it all at once. And it was an amazing lesson to just kind of let go and, you know, still work hard and have dreams and have goals, but not hold so tightly to the things that I wanted, you know, personally, because it was really that event that forced me to get serious about school, forced me to declare major and to determine, you know, career path, which is right about the same time that I decided on chiropractic. That's also the time when Erin and I got really serious, and just, you know, I decided I was going to propose to her. You know, long story short, like it just sent me on this totally different trajectory that I don't think I probably would have, you know, gone had I not had that injury. So, you know, that would be a big one. Obviously, that kind of catapulted me or catalyzed this part of my life. The other one would be having kids, you know, and the reason why I put that one on there is I never really thought I'd be a good dad. I've always been kind of just self-absorbed and all in my own little world. And, but man, when we had our first kid, it was just like this instantaneous, like all of a sudden I could finally understand how much, you know, God loved me as a son. You know, you hear about that growing up, like, you know, God loves you and God's like a father and whatever. And even your own dad, like a lot of times, and I had a great dad. I had a stepdad and a biological dad that were both fantastic. And so I wasn't lacking for love or anything like that, but I don't think you really fully get it until you have your own kids. And for me, it totally softened a piece of my heart that I wasn't really ever sure would ever be softened. And I think that's a big reason why, I have this compassion and this desire to help families with their health, especially kids. We have a huge pediatric portion of our clinic. And that's really why. And if you would have asked me 20 years ago, I would have been like, no way, I can't stand kids, But then you have some and you're like, oh, they're not too bad. They're actually pretty fun. So,
well, it's amazing what, attracts you in your life, because it's really where you're at in your journey. If you have kids and you're passionate about kids, you're probably going to attract kids into your life. If you're not in that realm or whatever, you're probably not going to attract those things in your life. And that's awesome. Yeah.
And the last one would just be tearing my Achilles. And that one's kind of obvious, but it just, I think more than anything, it revealed my superpower. So I think we all have a superpower, and this is a super important thing that I think all of us should try to focus on. Is you got to identify your superpower, because if you're trying to press into things that are not your superpower, it's going to be challenging. But if you know what your superpower is and you can leverage that, then you're going to be a lot better off. And tearing my Achilles and going through that, I think it revealed that my superpower was just grit. Yeah. And I think I'm able to withstand a lot, and it's given me confidence, because now I'm kind of like, I have no fear. And it doesn't mean that I have no fear that I'm ever going to be hurt again, or that I might not, or might lose or whatever, because I'm sure those things are going to happen. Life is life for sure. But it's almost like, the more pain you can endure and triumph over, the more pain you can handle, in the future in a good way. Yeah. So anyway,
that's awesome. That's real truth right there for sure. For people that are looking to create a new habit or new direction so that they can, rise to that new level, or just have a better trajectory moving forward, what would be just like one nugget, one action step that you would just help them like guide themselves towards, so they could create that new perspective, new habit?
Get uncomfortable. I mean, like I said, I mean, the most pivotal moments of my life were the most uncomfortable. Even having kids, because even though having kids is a beautiful thing, like I was scared to death of being a dad and having kids, because I just didn't think I was going to be good at it. And but it's, like you guys have probably all heard the analogy that you don't know what's on the inside of an orange until it gets squeezed. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of true for all of us. And I think that we all have a lot more on the inside that's valuable than we maybe recognize, but that value doesn't come out. That beauty, that superpower doesn't come out until you squeeze yourself, or you allow yourself to get squeezed. And so I think, it's different for everybody, but I think if people were to be honest with themselves, I really think that if you were to ask people, hey, what's that one thing that you already know, like you don't have to think about, you already know that you should be doing that's uncomfortable, that's going to make your life better, but you're scared, or you're unsure, or, you're lying to yourself that you don't have enough information yet, or whatever the case is. Like, I think people deep down, they already know what that one thing is that they need to start doing, or that jump that they need to take to just level up their life. So get uncomfortable. That's my answer.
I think that's great. That's perfect. I mean, so many of us get in our complacency, and then we can't grow. Just like the lobster, right? It can't grow unless it feels that pressure on its shell and on its body, and then it can shed it and grow and get bigger. So that's great. Doc, what are some ways that some people can maybe reach out to you, whether it be working with you or just connecting with what you're doing on a daily basis to help them get better in their health and their mission?
So my wife and I, we try to put out as much valuable content on social media as we can. And we really don't have an agenda for that. Like the 5 Minutes of Fire videos. We've been doing a Facebook Live thing, my wife and I have, for the last couple of weeks, just all about keto and the ketogenic diet. And so if people want to just kind of follow me and see what I'm up to and see the type of stuff that I'm putting out, you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And then as far as like working together, or, working on a little more personal level, we have a website that's being launched here in the next couple of weeks, and it's just drsousley.com. Nice. So cool. drsousley.com. And then we'll have all of our content on there too, but there'll be a contact form, and if people just want to write in and ask questions or inquire about, different things that we're up to, that's a way to do that too.
Cool. We'll put all those links for the listeners on there too, so they can get in contact with you and get those resources. That's awesome. And then last question here. We only got about 30 seconds left, Doc, so I'm putting you into the fire here, but what does reaching your fullest potential mean to you?
For me, it's living every day like a chapter in a story that you're proud to tell your grandkids.
I love it. That's real. That's great. That's actually the shortest, because I put you under pressure, but that's actually one of the most clear versions and visions of what fullest potential is, man. I love it. So, hey, man, we appreciate having you on here today. Thank you for all you're doing and helping your community, not just locally, but globally now as well. So we appreciate you.
Thank you too, Dr. Chris. You guys, Dr. Chris is amazing. Stay tuned to his show. He's going to keep bringing you tons of value. It's an honor to be on with you guys.
Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please help more people in reaching their fullest potential and rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. For show notes and other free resources we mentioned today, go to newedgewellness.com.